Welcome to our analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Politics is a very dirty game. And yesterday, Raila Odinga proved to William Samoei Ruto that he's still an enigma in Kenyan politics. William Samoei Ruto had set a trap that were it not for Raila being smart, he would have walked into that trap in broad daylight. Because when the IBC sent an invitation to meet all the presidential candidates in Windsor Hotel in Kiambu, William Ruto, as usual, had planned his theatrics and he really wanted to embarrass Raila Odinga. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this channel for the very first time, kindly take a moment and subscribe, click the notification bell, and share our videos if you can. To all our subscribers, thank you very much for the support that you're giving this channel. Now, William Samoei Ruto decided to send his team led by Governor Nanok, who is the chief agent for the UDA and Kenya Kwanza team. Now, the invitation was very clear that they were supposed the meeting was supposed to take place at 9 in the morning. And Raila Odinga of the new party, Wajakoya of the Roots Party, Wahigia of Agano Party were all there. But Nanok indicated to the IBC chairman that Mr. William Ruto was held up somewhere and would probably make it later in the day. Now, it is being said that William Samoei Ruto sent his team to understand what the Raila Odinga team wanted, their position to the IBC. And he was being updated every minute of what was happening. And so he was in a meeting in Tharaka Nithi, I think, and also attended an economic forum just somewhere within Kiambu. And so after it became very clear the Raila team had established their position to the IEBC, William Ruto was prepared with a counteractive position to the IEBC. And so he set up to come after Raila Odinga had spoken. And so the following ways, these are William Samoei Ruto set this trap in the following ways. Number one, William came late, I think 3 hours later, and he wanted to achieve a particular political goal. And these are what he wanted. Number one, William Samoei Ruto knew very well that when everyone was seated and he arrives in that meeting, he would interrupt. One, the news reporters would have gone outside to meet him for a briefing before he gets in, because the norm is when a politician comes in, the news reporters would go there and ask him what he wanted to, his position to the IBC and all that. And so he wanted to create a kind of a fracas. And you see, when news reporters leave Raila Odinga there and they walk, go out to meet William Ruto, William Ruto wanted to take some political mileage. And then after the media, that scuffle, when the media, the fraternity have spoken and asked a few questions, he really wanted to come in. And as a deputy president, there is some pecking order in the room. So when he walks in, he knew that people like Nanok would recognize his presence. Chebukati would recognize this process, and he also came in the UDA attire. So he knew very well that within the room he would cause some storm for a moment. He would, his seat was there and some little arrangement would be, made for him. And then Chebukati, he wanted to steal that show. And Raila knew very well, because Raila has got intelligence. When William Ruto was being updated of what was happening, Raila also had someone who was updating him of the plans that William Samoei Ruto had planned. So Raila walked out immediately a few minutes before Ruto, got into the arena, and they shook hands, and after some moment Martha Karua hurriedly walked out.
We want to seek leave, attend to other matters, but we have a very robust team behind us. We apologize for leaving before the end. Majutiko.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Is it about the results?
Yes.
Yes, transmission, yeah.
Mr. Chair, you talk about 1,111 polling stations. Mr. Chair, you talked about 1,111 polling stations that do not have connectivity to 3G. What methodology are you going to use to have access to all these polling stations? The second issue is the issue of the transmitted images.
Because they did not want to give Ruto a chance to steal the show from them. Now, the other thing that William Samoei Ruto wanted to do, he'd known very well that Raila Odinga had rejected and complained the IBC position to use exclusively electronic vote system without the manual system. The Zimio One Kenya Alliance has made it clear that it is sometimes the electronic gadgets sometimes do not work. Sometimes they fail to work in the middle of voting, and so they were wondering what alternative has been put in place just in case the electronic machines fail to work in the middle of voting, because they said that this has happened before in 2013 and 2017. And William Samoei Ruto knew very well the position of Raila, because Raila had said that they will accept nothing.
Yes, to do electronic identification through the biometrics, but there should also be that manual register. We were saying either that or never. We will not accept anything different from that.
If something is not done, they will not accept it. And so William Samoei came knowing very well he wanted a showdown, because you can imagine a situation where Raila is seated there and Ruto has also come, and Ruto is countering the demands, because he actually said, he told the IBC that he is ready to work with the position of the IBC. Actually, he supports voting without the manual registration.
We do not want a manual register. If you give us sufficient safeguards that an electronic register will function without any chance of failure, then we are good. I am on record, Mr. Chairman, saying that even if my competitor's brother was the chairman of IBC, I would have no problem, so long as he is competitively recruited.
So he really wanted this showdown because Raila had spoken and made his position. So William Ruto, I think it was going to be his turn. And you know, whoever speaks last sometimes has the last laugh. So he wanted to make, and you know how he said it. He was full of theatrics even as he was explaining this. And Raila and his team knew very well because Raila is not new to politics. He knows Ruto very well. Ruto actually is a student of Raila. So Raila safely walked out of this dirty trap. He avoided this kind of embarrassment. Now, the worst of it all was the position that Raila held about the commissioners, the returning officers. There's been a claim that almost a quarter of the county returning officers, are they presiding officers or returning officers, are coming from one community, the Kalenjin. And in a coded language, it seems that Raila Odinga and the team felt like the returning officers are likely to collude and support William Samoei Ruto because they are from his tribe, his ethnic group. And they had really made their reservations about the same. Yes, it's good to note that the county officers working for the IBC are permanent employees. But Raila really was wondering how the IBC, was it a coincidence or by accident, that almost a quarter of them are coming from the same tribe. And William Ruto knew very well the position. And so he came armed to the teeth, with his counter statement. And the way he was saying it was very sarcastic because he made it clear to the IBC that he does not have a problem with anybody being an official of the IBC, anybody officiating elections, and even reiterated some sarcastic statements that he made earlier that even if Raila's brother is the presiding officer, he is not afraid, he is ready to work.
Finally, we have no problem with any Kenyan serving in any capacity, so long as they have been recruited competitively and they have the requisite skills and competencies. We have absolutely no preference for any Kenyan from any community. And if our competitors have a problem with certain Kenyans who come from certain communities, you can work out with them. We have no problem if they are replaced. But we want every Kenyan to be given a chance, and the measure should not be ethnicity, the measure should be competence, whether they are competent to do whatever it is that they are doing. I am on record, Mr. Chairman, saying that even if my competitor's brother was the chairman of IEBC, I would have no problem, so long as he is competitively recruited. Thank you very much.
So you can imagine if he was saying all this and Raila is seated there, it would be total humiliation and embarrassment to Raila Odinga, because it would seem like Raila is afraid. Because if Raila claims that he has reservations against working without a manual register, and Ruto says he's okay with it, he would paint Raila in a bad picture. And then Raila complains that he has again reservations about some officials of the IBC, and then Ruto comes and say, I'm okay with it. It was going to be very bad for Raila Odinga. And so what Raila did was he just walked out, knowing very well that Ruto was around the corner. I think as a matter of intelligence, then some people think that there is an SMS that was sent, there was some kind of communication that was sent to Martha, because Martha walked out very hurriedly, just saying that duty calls. A few moments later, Wajakoya also walked away. And when the media tried asking why Wajakoya was going away, Wajakoya did not speak to them.
Thank you. I will ask Professor, you and CEO and anybody from the technical team to make comments on the issues that are.
And so what they did was very simple. William Ruto set a trap and he got into that trap alone. In the end, Raila was not around, Martha Karua was gone, and Wajakoya was gone. So William Ruto was only left with Wahigia of the Agano party. And so his mission failed. He's full of theatrics. When people go for maybe a funeral, you remember when in the funeral, the burial of the late President Mwai Kibaki, William Samoei Ruto mobilized his team and they cheered him as he went to speak, just to ensure that people think he gives the impression that he's popular. And this is the reason why even in the Madaraka Day, the president declined to give William Ruto a chance to speak. Because when people are speaking important matters, William Samoei Ruto will always bring his myopic and theatrics behavior in such meetings. And Raila knew this very well. And so it's clear that in as much as William Ruto thinks that he's smart, Raila is smarter than him. He proved to him that he's still a young man in politics. Raila proved that in the end he's still the enigma in politics. And Ruto should know that Kenyans know his tricks and that Raila is a more senior politician. All these things that he's trying to do, Raila did long time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take.